In our first story, Vice Chairman of the Public Interest Accountability Committee, PIAC, Kwame Jantoa, is stressing the readiness of the institution to monitor the significant inflow and utilization of oil revenue to government should ExxonMobil or any other petroleum company start production in commercial quantities. He noted the committee has built capacity over the years to be able to monitor revenues generated in the country's petrochemical industry. He spoke in an interview with Joy Business after addressing some selected journalists at a workshop in Kumasi.
Ghana signed a petroleum agreement with ExxonMobil for the Deep Water Cape 3 Points area last week for ultra-deep water oil exploration. The deal would have to be ratified by Parliament after a local partner also appends its signature. Meanwhile, Minister for Energy has described the terms of the agreement as one of the best based on lessons drawn from the country's 10-year experience in petroleum production. Some parties are, however, disturbed they cannot have details of the agreement until it is ratified by Parliament. But the Vice Chairman of PIAC thinks otherwise. In an interview with Joy Business, Kwame Jantoa said he does not believe Ghanaians will be shortchanged by the Exxon deal.
I don't think the government, if I may use it as a whole, I don't think the government would want to shortchange Ghanaians. I don't think so. And so let's wait and see. It has been signed. It hasn't been ratified yet. The basis of ratification is based on the local content, then find a local content partner. We've discussed that. It goes to Parliament. Once it goes to Parliament and it's ratified, I'm sure we will see the content of that contract. And when that happens, let's talk again and see whether the content of that PA that has been signed is beneficial to Ghana.
Kwame Jantoa also noted capable state institutions exist to monitor the tax receipts associated with Exxon's production should the company come on stream, as well as ensuring that the oil giant abides by the country's industry laws. He also stated PIAC has built enough capacity to monitor significant inflows of oil revenue and its utilization should production start.
Don't take the fact that they're a big company and they have money, that means they can railroad our laws. No, I don't think that is possible. And we have the institutions to hold them responsible if they do anything against the laws of Ghana.
Including monitoring them?
Oh, we have to monitor them. We have to. It's not including monitoring them. That is a responsibility that we have to do. And PIAC would treat ExxonMobil like all the other IOCs we are working with.
Do you have the capacity to do that?
What capacity? What are you talking about capacity? We have the capacity to work with Tallow and Cosmos, don't we? We have the capacity to work with ENI. Because ExxonMobil has money, we don't have the capacity. We will show you that we have the capacity. And we will not allow them to do things that are ultra-virus to our laws. I don't think PIAC will sit down and say because it's, ExxonMobil, we are going to give them preferential treatment. No, I don't think so. And I don't think anybody in government should do that. Anybody in Parliament should do that. Our judiciary should do that because we are a sovereign country.
The ExxonMobil deal is expected to generate more employment and deepen Ghana's economic development. Mr. Jantoa therefore believes that government will do a due diligence on the operations of the company in order to benefit the citizenry. The agreement will become operational after a local partner has been identified and the deal ratified by Parliament in some few weeks.
The country's earnings from its traditional exports for last year witnessed significant increase. Figures from the Bank of Ghana showed that it went up by $2.6 billion to $13.7 billion in December 2017. The following reports, what were the drivers of this significant growth in export earnings? There's more in this report.
According to figures from the Bank of Ghana, gold brought in $5.7 billion compared to $4.9 billion secured in 2016 for last year. Cocoa contributed $2.7 billion, about $2 million more than what it got in 2016, while crude oil exports went up from $1.3 billion in 2016 to $3 billion ending December 2017. Sources close to government are attributing the strong earnings from the precious metal gold's increase in volumes exported. The development could help the Bank of Ghana shore up its dollar bank balance, which could go a long way to stabilize the cedi. However, the country's total import bill, as at the end of last year, stood at $12.6 billion.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has indicated it will soon put out a new formula that would influence lending rates of banks in the country. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, who disclosed this to newsmen, however, fell short of capping interest rates. However, says this falls short of capping interest rates. There's more in the following business desk report and some issues that came up at the MPC's press conference.
The changes to the current formula was influenced by concerns it was not reflective of current developments on the market. Therefore, coming up with a new formula and mechanism that is more transparent instead of looking at individual banks and their cost structures would help.
I don't think that you really need a model, really, to get the banks to do the right thing, because if banks want to keep interest rates where they are, they will provide justification. Right? They will provide the justification on why they think that even though this is the base rate that is coming out of that model, this is my assessment of the risk premium associated with this or that. So this is why we haven't been that quick in pushing, this movement to the new formula per se, because we want the banks to look at their operating costs and improve the efficiency of their operations, because that is where the crux of the matter is. If we are able to have banks that are more efficient, irrespective of the model that is in place, you will see lending rates coming down. And this is why we are also pushing for larger banks, so that we will derive the economies of scale from the high operating cost environment as a way of addressing the high lending rates in the economy.
The governor of the Bank of Ghana also noted they are yet to receive any formal notice on merging the two institutions.
And then moving on to this discussion on NIB, ADB, I don't know where you are getting that from, because it was only in the budget that the minister announced the intention, and to the best of my knowledge, it is still an intention. I'm not sure if they have even formally written to the supervision department to indicate that they want to merge as a single bank.
On the recent discrepancies on the actual volumes and earnings from the gold exported, the governor was of the view that it's about time the relevant government agencies are empowered to help deal with the situation.
Meanwhile, the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, says capping interest rates will not entirely solve the lending rates problem. He's rather calling for a comprehensive framework to deal with the issue.
16 mining districts in the Ashanti region now have local mining committees. They are expected to assist in flashing out illegal mining in their localities by helping to streamline Operation Small-Scale Miners. Members of the committee have received training in use of technology to monitor mining activities to enhance their work.
What I believe, or what AGR has been saying, that Bank of Ghana needs to intervene a little bit in the interest rate situation, and I'm sure there are other means of doing that, not just fixing a cap. For example, developing a formula. You remember way back there was a formula developed for determining the interest rate, so that within certain ranges, within certain parameters, interest rates would fall within a range. And if you use that formula and you will ensure that they are strictly adhering to it, I'm sure we'll see improvement in that area. The other thing has also been government's own borrowing. And significantly, we've seen improvement in government borrowing by way of the treasury bill rate. Treasury bill rate has fallen quite significantly. So government has done well as far as competing with the private sector in the financial market is concerned. So there has been that improvement. And what I'm trying to say, there are other different ways of looking at it. Our position has been that whatever it is to bring it down, do it. Capping the interest rate is one of such measures, but I wouldn't say is the best prescription at all times. If at this particular moment we think that is the best solution, we can look at it again. But it is one of the options to look at, not necessarily the very final option.
Away from that, 16 mining districts in the Ashanti region now have local mining committees. They are expected to assist in flushing out illegal mining activities in their localities by helping to streamline operations of small-scale miners. It is part of a nationwide exercise by government to help address the long-standing issue of illegal mining and their attendant effects. Thomas Pamford was at the inauguration in Kumasi and our reports.
16 mining districts in the Ashanti region now have local mining committees. They are expected to assist in flushing out illegal mining in their localities by helping to streamline Operation Small-Scale Miners. Members of the committee have received training in use of technology to monitor mining activities to enhance their work. Deputy Lands and Natural Resource Minister Benito Owusu-Bio has inaugurated the committee in Kumasi.
Monitoring activities, and as part of the monitoring measures, there is the need to ensure that we have in operation district mining committees that shall be solely responsible to ensure that there is no illegal mining activities in our mining districts. So what you saw us doing today is to inaugurate all those committees in the 16 districts where mining is actively being undertaken in the Ashanti region. Going forward, their duty is to, one, help to ensure that everyone mining in their domain is registered and has a legal license. Secondly, they are also to ensure that there is cooperation between the various agencies, that is the Mining Minerals Commission, the Forestry Commission, the Immigration Police, and even the District Assembly as an entity. Yes, and then the communities as well. So there's going to be that collaboration, and then that will enhance the effort of ensuring that the process of application for mining leases by the small-scale miners that we all want to be done or begun from the district level is undertaken.
He reveals the committee will liaise with other state agencies to effectively deliver on their mandate. Environment, Science and Technology Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng warns the forestry officers against allowing illegal miners into the reserves.
How to mine sustainably.
Some miners have been educated on how to mine sustainably. They should put it to good use. Some forestry officers have also allowed illegal miners to evade the forest with the idea of doing reclamation, but it is otherwise. Government is on the alert.
Forest baby I mind that reclamation. And so reclamation obiara be say adwuma. Abaya huni na baby o Western region.
Thomas Pamford reporting for Joy News.
The governor of the Bank of Ghana is warning trading in bitcoins is illegal for now. He says operations of cryptocurrencies will be regularized after the necessary regulations are put in place to guide their use.
Yes, I mean, the payments, instruments change all the time. You remember that in this country there was a time we were using cowries as a medium of exchange. So it's normal to expect that as society changes and technology improves, you will see new types of payment instruments come up. And Bitcoin is one of those types of virtual or digital currencies that have come up. In its particular case, it's a digital community currency. That is, this is a currency that is being used within a particular community to undertake global payments. And the key thing that we probably would put out in that statement is to say that it's not yet legal tender in this country. And for that reason, people have to be cautious on their approach to that. But we are looking at the new payment systems bill that will deal with the issue of digital money and electronic money. That new bill will be passed by Parliament in the next few months. And then we hope that after the bill comes out, more modern forms of payments that are issued by banks and non-banks that will be registered by the Bank of Ghana would become, covered by the laws and the regulatory purview of the bank.
Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is urging regulators around the world, including the Bank of Ghana, to form policies on this new digital currency. IMF's Communication Director, Jerry Rice, has been speaking from Washington, D.C.
We think they can have potential benefits, including the promotion of financial inclusion and more efficient payment and settlement processes. But we have also alerted that cryptocurrencies can pose considerable risks as potential vehicles for money laundering, terrorist financing, tax evasion, and fraud. So, the bottom line, we think greater international discussion and cooperation among regulators, yes, would be helpful.
Let's now hear from economist Professor Peter Quartey, who is also supporting the Bank of Ghana's call for regulatory frameworks to enhance operations of the cryptocurrency.
The cryptocurrency operations are outside the regulation of the central bank. If you look at the Banking Act and the things it can control, cryptocurrency doesn't come in. And therefore, at the moment, the best it could say is that it is illegal because it is outside the law. It is a new thing. I think we should all embrace innovation. We should all embrace technology. But we have to do it cautiously. It has to be done in a properly regulated manner. Otherwise, the bank's monetary policy will be ineffective or will be less effective because this is money outside the control of the central bank.
On her part, President of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Reverend Patricia Sapo, is calling on all financial industry players to be abreast with the issue of the cryptocurrency.
Is the cryptocurrency or are the cryptocurrencies a threat to banking? This is something we need to consider seriously. Because so many years ago when mobile banking came, nobody ever thought that mobile banking will evade the whole banking industry right now. So what are we doing about the crypto? Will the cryptocurrency disrupt banking or the banking systems, especially the remittances? How do we position ourselves to face the crypto environment in the near future? It may have its ups and downs, but I think that going forward, these are some of the things we need to be thinking about. As the world is changing, we need to position ourselves, which is why the Chartered Institute of Bankers will continue to align to the digital environment and ensure that we churn out digital savvy, bankers who are abreast with technology and the needs of the time.
We're still live on the marketplace. We're taking a short breather here. We'll be right back after this. Live on the marketplace, and the Aviation Ministry has embarked on a tour to check on a piece of land it claims has been encroached upon by some residents at East Legon. Our man Charles Aite was on the tour. He's joining me right here in the studio to tell us more. Now, Charles, which part of land or exactly are you talking about?
Well, this very land that we're talking about is situated at East Legon, and it is a land that houses a very sensitive device. We're talking of the very high directional range, radio range facility, which is termed as the VUR facility. What this facility does is that it often tracks radio signals for pilots and other air staff on how they should land and when they should land.
Okay.
Now, what we currently gathering is the fact that the situation of high-rise buildings across this very land has interrupted the efficacy of this very sensitive material, which makes landing here in Accra very much of a high-risk situation.
It interferes with the signals.
Absolutely. So that's the main reason why they are embarking on this demolition exercise.
Now, so what did you see? I mean, the level of encroachment at the said land, how was it like?
Well, I would estimate it to be a 40% encroachment of this very land. And of course, we're talking of lands that have been encroached, in a 300-meter, radius. And of course, we're talking of close to 10 high-rise buildings in that regard.
So what's the way forward? What's the aviation minister saying?
Well, currently all those, perpetrators, or those who fall victim to this very move by the aviation ministry are going to be handed a specific court of order, out of which they're going to be processed in court. And if they have license to really build, these licenses are going to be extracted from them.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Charles Aite. And that was Charles Aite bringing us up to speed with a tour embarked upon by the Aviation Ministry to check on its encroached lands. And that note, we wrap up today's edition of The Marketplace. My name is Emmanuel Apwachi. Yeah, we have a good afternoon.